This is Renee Romeo of ReneeRomeo.com. Today's project is hanging a hood over my range. Now the hood that I've chosen is from a company called ProLine, and actually this is a ventless version. And this is very, very difficult to find in the industry, something that's going to fit over a 48-inch wide range. It's one of the largest ventless hoods in the industry, and it's very nice and sleek looking and can blend in with almost any decor. So the model number that I'm using today is called PLFI 750.48. And really, the reason why I'm using a ventless hood in this situation is because I have quite a distance to go in one direction to get to the outdoors, and in the other direction, it vents out into a screened-in porch. So I don't like either one of those situations, and a ventless version is really the way to go. So when it's ventless, it's really more of an air purifier. And the way that it works is it uses charcoal filters that suck up the air, filter it through the charcoal filters, and then recirculate it through the room. Now in the past, I've installed range hoods over the top of a normal size range that sits against the wall. I've also installed microwave ovens that have a venting system through it that vents the air back through the room and acts like an air purification system just like this does. But this seems a lot easier to install. I'm hoping for a 2-hour install on this, and you should expect the same. So the first thing that I'm doing is locating the very center of the range. And so my center point happens to be right here, both front to back and side to side. So this unit is literally just hanging from the ceiling. So this is the bracket that gets mounted to the ceiling itself. And you'll see there are 4 holes right on the corners, and then we've also drilled out 2 holes somewhere in the center here where it's going to hit a stud in the ceiling to make it extra secure. Now they come with a little packet of fasteners, and so the fasteners are going to go all the way up and down the flue, and then they have included these little plastic plugs that go into the drywall and the ceiling to hold this up. Now this is an 80-pound unit, and I'm not very secure in just leaving this hanging on 4 little plugs, so that's why I went ahead and had these drilled out right at that stud point, just to really make sure that when you turn it all the way on high, and that vibration isn't going to pull it out of the ceiling. So what I've done at this point is made a template on paper of the top of this bracket. And so you'll see it fits exactly over the top. I've traced it out. It's the exact configuration of this bracket. And what this is going to do, it'll help me locate all of my points on the ceiling without having to hold a heavy bracket up there at the same time. I can just grab my piece of paper and use that instead. So I'll take this piece of paper, I'm folding it in half in one direction, and then folding it in half in the other direction. And I'm making sure that all the edges line up perfectly. So what this is going to give me is the very center point of this bracket. And I'm going to open this up. I'm going to take this mark right in the center right here, and I'm going to line this up with the mark that I made on the range. So that's perfect. Then I can open it out. And where this crease is, I can go ahead and line this up with another mark that I've made in the exact center, front to back, and line that up on the crease. So now what this is going to do, it's going to ensure that the hood is square to the range. So they're going to look exactly the same, mimic one another, and so that way nothing's going to be askew. Now this is a plumb bob, and this is going to be used to locate all 4 corners up on the ceiling so that what we're looking at on top of the range is exactly the same on the ceiling. So from this point on, this is a 2-person job. You need somebody at the bottom to locate this for you while you're holding the string at the ceiling height. And the very point of that bob has to line up with the corner of that template. So now I'm going to tape this to the ceiling, making sure that all 4 corners are lined up. Now if you don't drill holes into your bracket to get it to go into the stud in the ceiling, you really should use some butterfly hooks for this, but since I'm able to go ahead and install that directly into the stud, I'm pretty confident with these plastic anchors going on all 4 corners. So I'll go ahead and install those. I've marked each and every one, so I'm ready to go. So the holes in the bracket are a little large, so what I've done is I've taken a washer and I've added that to the screw itself so it won't fall through the hole. So that's what it looks like when the bracket is all set. And the electricity is up in the right-hand hole. It's a plug, and the unit is going to plug directly into it, into the outlet. It's not a direct wire. Now I have an L bracket here. These are going to go on all 4 corners to get the exact height that you need from the top of the range to the bottom of the vent itself. So I'm using self-tapping screws. These were supplied in the kit, and so these go at all 4 corners. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 4 of these at each corner. The hood needs to be hung anywhere from 28 to 31 inches above the top of the range. So I've determined that mine will be 31 inches, but the actual hood itself is 3 inches tall. So this measurement from the top of the range to the bottom of this bracket needs to be 34 inches. And that's what mine is. So I'll show you how it gets attached so that we can make that entire long length. Now I'm securing this together with a nut and bolt system, so you can see that right there. And all I'm going to do is set the L bracket inside the other L bracket and secure it in place. Now I have the last 2 little slots here that I'm going to put the nut and bolt through and tighten it down. And in order to tighten this down from the back side, I have an adjustable wrench. I'll get on that nut in the back, and then in the front I'll go ahead and screw it in place. Nice and tight. And this is what it looks like when it's all together. So it's a little wonky right now, but everything's going to straighten out. Now the way this is set up, in order to get everything plugged in and secured properly, we use the box that the flue came in. It's a perfect size. It holds everything in place really nicely. Actually, the brackets are kind of preventing this from falling back or forwards, so everything is pretty secure at this point, so we can go ahead and work on plugging this into the ceiling. So the plug is just a regular 3-prong plug, and it's just plugged into the ceiling, and chances are if you had a light fixture above your island, you can go ahead and tap into that electricity and run just a regular plug up there for this unit. So it's plugged in. We're going to go ahead and start it off and just see if everything works, and it does, and it's beautiful. It's got 8 LED lights on here, but we'll show you that at the end. So at this point, this 2-part flue needs to be pulled up and actually pulled into place at the top. So let me show you how that's secured. So the top section of the flue is secured with 2 self-tapping screws, which you can see in the video. And then if I pan out a little bit, we've taken the masking tape pieces and just taped the bottom section of the flue to the top so that we have access to this area below. Now this is what we're going to be working on next. So the hood is still resting on top of the box, but after panning out, you can see here's the bottom of the L bracket, and this section of the hood has a bunch of holes in it for self-tapping screws. So the self-tapping screws are going to go through the L bracket into this unit. After we push it up into place, we'll go ahead and put those screws in. Now you can insert all the screws, but don't tighten them yet because you need to get out your level and make sure that everything is level across the front and across the sides. So I'm having a little problem with this corner right here, and it needs to come down a little bit. So all I'm going to do, all of my screws are loose, and I'm just going to go ahead and push down on it as I screw these in. Let's see if I took care of the problem. Perfect. And now for the best part. The next thing I need to do is install the charcoal filters. Now these are the things that are going to purify the air for you. So the way that you get to this area is you've got four baffles here that pull out just like this with a little lever. And you'll see these come already coated with some plastic, so they need to be pulled off on both sides. The great thing about these baffles is that they can fit right in the dishwasher, so anytime they get dirty, just pop them in and they'll be good as new. So once you get this done, you have access up into this area. With the baffles removed, you can see the 2 fans on the inside, and the charcoal filters get attached to 2 pins. So one here and then one over here. So let me just demonstrate how that's done. So the inside of the charcoal filter is here. The outside is covered in plastic, and you'll see it has two little holes here that are going to slide onto those two pins. So it gets placed up into the unit. It's a little tight, but you'll get there. You just have to kind of feel it out with your hands. And you might need a smaller person here to do this. If you've got giant hands, it might be a difficult job. Now that the filters are in place, I can put the baffles back in. Now that this ProLine ventless island hood is all installed, it can move air at a rate of 300 to 1100 cubic feet per minute. What that means is it moves a lot of air around and it's going to purify your air even faster on speed 6. So let's go ahead and just turn this on. This is speed 6. This is the loudest it's going to get. So let's go ahead and move it down to speed 1. Now here's speed 1. Quiet, easy to listen to. It's still pulling up air. I can still feel the air coming through here. You know, one of the great things about this unit is that with the carbon filters, it's only $40 to replace them. You do it every 6 months. So it's really inexpensive to operate too. If you have an installation where you have 7-foot ceilings or you have 10 or 12-foot ceilings, there are additional baffles that you can purchase to get that length to either decrease or increase. So this is really a wonderful way to install a gorgeous island hood in a space where you don't have access to ductwork. It's just going to purify the air. It's a great way to just pull the heat away from the kitchen and move it elsewhere in the room. So it's a great solution for me. It's going to be a great solution for you. I hope you enjoyed watching this project. This is Renee Romeo of ReneeRomeo.com. Go get yourself a ProLine island hood.